Hi, hey, and hello there. Obi-Han here, and welcome back to the Comic High Ground. Alright, as with the Ultimate Spider-Man comic review, I'm kinda in the same situation with this Ultimate Black Panther comic review. I'm at work, the comic came out, and in order to try to get the video out in a timely manner, I got to use my 15-minute break to come out here and record. Editing Obi-Han here. So, real quick, before this video continues, as I said, I was recording this video while I was at work, so it means I was sitting outside in the vehicle recording, and you'll hear some vibration noises because my phone. I was using my phone to record, and I was getting text messages and phone calls, and I had forgotten to turn the phone completely on silent, so you may hear a few vibrations and stuff, but in an effort to keep the video, or to make sure the video gets out in a timely manner, I'm gonna have to kind of roll with the audio that I have. So I'm sorry for the vibration noises in advance, and I hope you enjoyed the video. So without further ado, let's kind of just get on right into this comic, because one thing about Black Panther, and comparing to other things like Spider-Man or Batman or whatever, Black Panther is definitely obviously a political story of sorts, in terms of the fact that you're dealing with the politics of Wakanda. And so when you're dealing with that, it's almost like a whole nother layer to the story. So it's not as easy as, for example, talking about Spider-Man and talking about how things are going on with the Daily Bugle, how things are going on with his wife and kids, him getting his costume. Not to mention the fact that I'm much more knowledgeable about Spider-Man's mythos than I am about Black Panther's, which is a shame, because Black Panther is my second favorite superhero. So yeah, I gotta get it together. I know certain stuff about Black Panther and his mythos, but I'm definitely no expert. I've always followed T'Challa through basically the animated series, some of the video game appearances, obviously the first movie, and some stuff in the comics here or there, moments that are really big for T'Challa, like him, donning the Infinity Gauntlet and everything. Those are all really kind of tattooed into my brain, if you will. Like I remember those all the time. So with that said, we're gonna see what this ultimate version of T'Challa brings us. And right off the bat, we see that in West Africa, there seems to be like this military force that's coming in and attacking the Africans and killing them, and I guess taking over their little towns or whatever, their villages. And so in the midst of all this, we see two, I think they're Wakandan spies, because we see them later on. They're kind of watching what's going on. So we cut to the next panel, and we see T'Challa waking up from a dream, and it's here where we find out that yes, T'Challa is the king already, and not only is he the king, but he's also married to Okoye, which is a very interesting change, because obviously Okoye is the leader of the Dora Milaje, and she's like his right hand officer, but here we see her as his wife. So I'm gonna be honest, I am someone who's a big supporter of T'Challa and Storm. That just seemed like a match made in heaven. So the fact that they clearly aren't going that route here is kind of upsetting. I mean, it's T'Challa and Storm, Black Panther and Storm. Who wouldn't want to see that, right? But I digress. This is an alternate universe. So yeah, you have the ability to play with the story and do what you want to do. But in any case, T'Challa wakes up from this nightmare. Okoye's kind of talking to him, and he ends up going outside to look at Wakanda and get this nice view of Wakanda. And they're talking about traditions, and he's telling her that traditions have to change, because in this world, Wakanda is still very much so hidden. So the greater world is not aware of Wakanda and their technology and everything yet. So T'Challa ends up going to visit his father, T'Chaka. He tells him a little bit about the dreams, or at least T'Chaka asks him about the dreams, and he kind of brushes it off. And T'Chaka's like, look, dream, sometimes maybe you need to pay attention to it. You're a king, and kings have different stuff going on. He says that perhaps the guides are trying to speak to you. So he ends up sending T'Challa to, if I'm saying this correctly, the Voodoo Khan. Um, I'm not sure. I'm be honest. I'm not sure what the Voodoo Khan is, and I might need to do a little research. If I can find anything on it, I'll kind of put it in the notes up here on the video. But T'Challa goes to speak to her, and they have this conversation about his dream and everything. And she basically tells him that he should really keep his eyes open. And he's like, "Well, look, I'm not gonna be, weary of my people." And she's like, "Just be aware, I just be aware." So T'Challa kind of listens to that and then goes on about his business. He returns to the throne with Shuri and Okoye sitting by his side. And here's where we see these two, I'm assuming spies, like I said earlier, because these look like the same guys who witnessed the things going on in that village. And they basically tell T'Challa that the men slaughtered all the village people. And T'Challa like, "Okay, you know what, fine. Thank you for letting me know." And Shuri's like, "Well, hey, look, when we gonna jump on this, right? When we gonna do what need to be done?" And T'Challa's kind of like, "Look, I'm the king of this nation. We're not gonna hop into a possible war if we don't know it's necessary yet." So he's basically like, "We're gonna do this kind of like in a recon type of situation. We're not gonna just gather the armies and go to war." And so Shuri's kind of not hearing it, but she kind of has to acquiesce because he is the king. And then also Okoye kind of tells her, "Hey, he's right." And as Shuri leaves, Okoye tells him, T'Challa thanks Okoye, and Okoye is like, "Look, if you weren't right, I would have called you out. But since you're right, then I'll support you on it." And of course, I also need to notate that Okoye is no longer the leader of the Dora Milaje. Obviously, she married T'Challa, so she's the queen now. And apparently, Shuri is really tight with the Dora Milaje, and Okoye actually tells T'Challa that, look, it's not so much that Shuri wants the war, it's that the Dora Milaje want a war. And that's because basically, when you're dealing with warriors, soldiers, peace, that time of peace is just, that's not for them. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting down chilling, and they want to have action. So that's kind of where that conversation goes. We cut to another small village, and we see a little boy playing with a ball. And while he's playing with this ball, more of these soldiers, these mercenaries or whatever, roll up and basically just, without question, put their aim on this boy, and they're about to open fire. And the boy closes his eyes, crying and everything, because he knows what's about to happen to him. But after he opens them, he realizes that the soldiers have all been taken down, and it looks like they've been taken down by Killmonger, actually, of all people, which is an interesting change. So not only is Killmonger here, he kind of beckons to, I think he called his, lightning something or whatever. I can't remember what he called her. But lightning comes shooting down from the skies, and more of the soldiers are taken down. And we kind of see like a silhouette. So it looks like Killmonger is working with Storm. And again, that's it's a change. Because I'm again, call me old fashioned. I want to see Storm and I want to see T'Challa together, and that's that. But anyway, we cut to Wakanda again, and there's this rally of sorts where T'Challa is speaking to the Wakandans, and he's kind of boosting them up, and they're cheering him on. He has this speech going on, and then behind him, there's this woman, because they're standing on this platform, him, this lady, and T'Chaka. And as they're standing on this platform, this woman walks up from behind them, and she yanks off her hood, and she yells something about Khonshu, and then she has like these explosives on her chest. So she sets them off, and T'Chaka immediately knocks T'Challa off of the platform. And as T'Challa's falling, he summons the Black Panther outfit and lands safely. Now, of course, because of the explosion, T'Chaka is taken out. And basically at this point, T'Challa's pissed, and he's like, "All right, yeah, we're going to war with Moon Knight," and that's how the comic closes out. So now we got a pissed off T'Challa, and if you know anything about T'Challa, you know you don't want to piss him off. Ask Namor. What he did to Namor is still legendary. But yeah, that's the gist of the comic. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen next in this story, because again, with this Ultimate Universe, anything can happen, because the point of the Ultimate Universe is really that it's different from the main 616. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next. But I gotta get back to work, so hit that like button, please. Drop a comment to let me know what you thought of this. Subscribe, and remember, we have the high ground. Catch you later.